Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Some massive news for the Alabama fans coming out of the recruiting trail as four-star quarterback Keelon Russell flipping his commitment from SMU to Alabama. And for the Alabama fans that have been rocking with the fellas the last couple of weeks and months, you guys already know that I am fired up about this kid. I'm even more fired up for him to go play for Kalen DeBoer and this Alabama program. And where you want to start with Keelon Russell, you can talk about the elite physical traits that he brings to the college football level. You can talk about the insane production that he had as a junior in high school. Where I want to start with Keelon Russell, and one of the most important things that I look for in quarterbacks making the jump from the high school to collegiate level is being a winner. And you look at Keelon Russell, back-to-back state championships, 29-1, in one of the most competitive leagues you'll see across the country at the high school level. You turn on the film with Keelon Russell, this kid is just a gamer. And when you combine the elite physical traits with what's between the ears with Keelon Russell, I think that's what Alabama fans should be most fired up about. Want to get into the film of Keelon Russell, talk about what he brings to this Alabama program, talk about why I think he fits so well in this Kalen DeBoer system. Before we do, and as always, just want to say thank you to you guys and a massive shout out to the Alabama fans. It has been just an absolute blast talking this program on the recruiting trail over the last couple of weeks and months. The amount of support you guys have shown the boys, it truly does mean a lot. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. A lot of commitments to break down over the next couple of weeks and months. And without further ado, let's get into Keelon Russell. And if there was a player that I would be betting on to finish this process as a five-star, it would be Keelon Russell. He's been shooting up boards consistently on all services that you look at, but more importantly, he's been shooting up pretty much every college football scouting department's board across the country. This became one of the most coveted quarterbacks that you saw in the country, and I think for Alabama fans, it's no surprise that he chooses Alabama. You look at what Kalen DeBoer did at Washington, quarterbacks, wide receivers, offensive skill. They're going to want to come play for Kalen DeBoer in this Alabama program. And you get into Keelon Russell, let's go to his junior year where he threw for over 3,500 yards, 38 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions. So this is a guy that can push the ball down the field, but take care of the football. A 72% completion percentage as a junior in high school. That's about as good of numbers you'll see from a quarterback at the high school level. And I remind you guys that he's playing at Duncanville, Texas, one of the most competitive leagues that you see across the country. You get into the film of Keelon Russell, he's an elite athlete. And I think a lot of you guys know that. You guys have heard of Keelon Russell. What I love most about Keelon Russell is, yes, he's an elite athlete. He's a guy that can create out of the pocket, be a legitimate threat to opposing defenses in terms of what he can do with his legs, but he's not a guy that is over-reliant on his athleticism. When you take a look at some of this film, he's a guy that he wants to step up, keep his eyes downfield, navigating a muddy pocket, delivering an absolute dot attack in the deeper third, pushing the ball down the field. There's not many quarterbacks better in the country at this. And again, when he needs to tuck it down, he's a guy that he's not just a good athlete, he's an elite athlete. He's an athlete that if you're an opposing defense, you have to be able to game plan for. Again, stepping up in the pocket, delivering a beautiful ball, attacks the deeper third exceptionally well. You see this throwing on a run. You talk about being a gamer. And Keelon Russell's a gamer, right? Moving the pocket, stepping into a throw, knowing he is about to take some big-time contact from this linebacker, throws an absolute dot on the run. I mean, that's the type of stuff that is rare at the college level, and Keelon Russell certainly brings it. Extending plays, easily probably could have ran this in for a touchdown with the speed that he has, keeping his eyes downfield, throwing off platform into such a tight window. This football can go to one spot for your wide receiver to catch it. Keelon Russell hits that spot. He's extremely accurate, throwing off platform, throwing in the pocket, so many different things that you can do with a guy like Keelon Russell. And you talk about the fit in this Kalen DeBoer offense. One, Kalen DeBoer's offense is very much predicated on timing and precision, right? Ball placement, accuracy, going to the right spot at the right time. Keelon Russell displays all of that. And then you talk about Kalen DeBoer just being a master at using his personnel the right way. There are so many different ways that you can ask Keelon Russell to attack opposing defenses, whether it's with his legs, whether it's creating outside the pocket, getting him on the move, or just sitting in the pocket and being methodical, pushing the ball down the field. Keelon Russell can do all of that. And so Kalen DeBoer now gets a quarterback that has so many different ways that he can attack opposing defenses. You get a sense of his athleticism. And again, I don't mean to undersell the athleticism. This is probably the most athletic quarterback you see in the 2025 cycle. He just doesn't rely on it all that much. And when you have a guy that's not relying on it, but certainly can do it, that's where I think the magic starts happening. Throwing into a tight window on time, really, really good command of this offense. And then you take a look at what Alabama's doing in the 2025 class. And I think the thing I'm most impressed with Kalen DeBoer and this staff is how they've recruited the defensive side of the football, right? When Kalen DeBoer took this job at Alabama, I don't think many people had question marks about Kalen DeBoer attract offensive playmakers to this program. His track record is just far too strong for offensive guys not to want to come and play for him. But what I'm most impressed with is you scroll down this list and say they're recruiting the defensive side of the football just about as good as anybody in the country. And if there was one question mark we had about Kalen DeBoer taking this Alabama job, it was recruiting the Southeast. And within the first 6 months of Kalen DeBoer being in Tuscaloosa, he has quieted a lot of critics and a lot of people who were skeptical of what he can do. And if you get Kalen DeBoer to recruit the way Nick Saban recruited at Alabama, the dynasty's not going anywhere. Because you look at Kalen DeBoer as a pure football coach, he's one of the best in the country. He's got the laundry list of track records to prove that. And so if the recruiting stays the same and Kalen DeBoer has continued all this talent to work with, and this is an Alabama program that's going to be a force for a very long time. We'll cut it there. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. Again, if y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.